Launch minus 48. Countdown begins 48 hours before liftoff. For the last 48 hours, we had to stay in the crew quarters and not talk to anyone from outside. It was supposed to be a bonding experience. Also, all the food in the fridge and the cupboards was replaced with space food. Little packs with straws sticking out of them, a bit like a Capri Sun, but with meat and veg instead of orange juice. We were supposed to eat space food from now on so that we get used to it. The packs had some worrying names. For instance, saliva chicken and pork that makes you eat your own hand. Samson too said it was probably a problem with the translation. Maybe saliva chicken means mouth-watering chicken, he said, and perhaps pork that makes you eat your own hand is just finger-licking good. Maybe, said Florida, but I think I'll stick to ice cream. Me too, said everyone else. So we just sat there sucking on space ice cream, 2 flavours, raspberry like a breeze on a lake, or banana divided, and practising the colour-coded button pressing on the computers. During the night there was a clanging sound, like the lid had fallen off the sky or something. Everyone ran into the living room. When I got there, they were all huddled together. I was going to get into the huddle too, when Samson too said, "What is it?" And I realised they were all waiting for me to sort it out. Hassan said, "Is it bears?" "Bears? Why would it be bears? Wait here and I'll go and look." I opened the front door thinking, what if it is bears? I couldn't see any or smell anything. I could hear a noise though, a slow, monotonous rumble, but I couldn't see anything except the possibility building. Then I realised the building had changed shape. I stood and watched for a while before understanding what was going on. They were moving the rocket. Very, very slowly it was trundling out on its tracks, out in the desert about 3 miles away. It was moving along the rails to the launch site. You could barely see anything happening, but if you looked away and looked back, you could see a bit more of the rocket had shouldered out of the building. It was like watching the minute hand on a clock. The others all crowded round me and I said, "Come on, let's get some sleep. Just the rocket, nothing to be scared of." I was thinking, that is so much scarier than bears. "I want my dad," said Samson too. I knew just how he felt. Next morning, there was a pile of presents waiting for us on the dining table. Some rubbery pencil casey type things called personal in-flight packs, and 5 of the latest Draxcom games consoles. They're called wrist stations. We had a visit from Space Santa. Wrist stations are quietly cosmic, by the way. They're basically Game Boys that fit on your wrist, but instead of having some squinty little screen, they project the game onto the wall, like in the cinema, so you can have it as big as you like. They all came loaded with Orbiter 4, Stone Age boneheads and surfing Eskimos, except mine, which had professional golfer and a testosterone cholesterol kit. There was a note from Dr. Drax explaining that we could pack whatever we wanted in the personal in-flight packs, PIPs for short, to take as personal luggage on the trip. We could take anything we liked, as long as it fitted in the PIP. 2 minutes later, there was a wrist station territorial dispute. Hassan and Max were playing Orbiter 4 together on one wall, and Samson 2 was using another whole wall to place Stone Age boneheads, so there was nowhere for Florida to play. I started by suggesting that Florida and Samson 2 play boneheads together, using the 2-player option, but that suggestion led to immediate off-screen violence. In the end, I told Samson 2 to stand nearer the wall to make the projection smaller. He said, "No." Everyone stared at me. It was a test of dadness. What was I supposed to do? Beg him? Threaten him? Shove him? If I couldn't control them here in the living room, what would it be like in orbit? I moved the couch to the centre of the room. I checked that it was lined up with the middle of the wall. Then, without even looking at him, I said, "Samson 2, sit down here." And that's all I said. I did try to make it sound like I expected immediate obedience. Then I held my breath. Samson 2 didn't look away from the wall, and he didn't say anything, but he did move forward and around the couch. Then he sat down and carried on playing. His game had shrunk to half size now, and there was loads of room for Florida to play. I said, "Now, move right to that end, Samson, and Florida, you sit at this end," which they both did. Hassan and Max weren't even looking at me now. I'd passed the test. But what if Samson too had just carried on saying no? I decided then and there to pack Talk to Your Teen in my pip. It was really too big, had to squeeze it in bit by bit, and as I was nudging the rubber sides over the book's spine, I noticed all the dad things on it, the 2 overlapping tea stains like a figure 8, the number written in the biro, the petrol receipts. It was my dad's book. My dad. I wish he'd turn up now, like he did when I got into that Porsche. I wish he'd turn up and shout, "Stop!"